So apparently this little Pikachu that appeared in the Pokemon Presents is actually an animatronic, not CGI. Still creepy as hell. Today we're going to be diving deeper into part 1 of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC, the Teal Mask. More specifically into a theory surrounding the mask itself. Just what is it, and what role could it play in this expansion? But first I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, which is actually myself. In case you don't know, I've been streaming pretty regularly again over on my Twitch channel and uploading most of these streams on my second channel, Not Munching Orange. So if you miss my old style of Let's Play videos or just want to come hang out with me live, check out my Twitch channel in the description and hit that follow button so you know when I'm live next. Anyway, let's get into this theory and begin with where this DLC takes place, as it plays a key role in understanding the themes of the Teal Mask. From the trailer, we know that our new adventure will take us beyond the Paldea region to a land called Kitakami. It's not exactly stated if this is another region or perhaps just a city inside of it, but regardless, this never-before-seen land is clearly based on Japan. In fact, the whole theme of this first part of the DLC seems to be based on a traditional Japanese festival. There's a variety of different festivals, but they're usually a celebration filled with music and dancing, delicious street food, and of course, masks. Most of these mask designs are borrowed from Japanese myths like the Tengu, Kitsune, and of course the Oni, a type of Japanese ogre/demon, which is what our new legendary Ogerpon seems to draw inspiration from. The masks seen during the trailer are a bit different though, and look more like cheap plastic toys made for kids to wear. And while it's easy to spot Pikachu and Eevee, you might have also recognized that the other masks actually represent the 3 new Pokemon introduced for this DLC: Okidogi, Munkidori, and Fezandipiti. Oh, and Ogerpon is there too, but compared to the Pikachu, Eevee, and even Ogerpon, these other 3 masks look a bit different. They kind of look like Power Ranger masks. Or should I say, Super Sentai. In case you didn't know, Super Sentai is actually the original name for the Power Ranger series in Japan. Many of the early Power Ranger series even use footage from the original Japanese Super Sentai in the scenes where characters are wearing their super-powered suits. Which is why the female Yellow Ranger in Mighty Morphin didn't wear a skirt like the Pink Ranger did, because in the Japanese version, the Yellow Ranger was actually a guy. Anyway, Super Sentai has remained one of the most popular kids shows in Japan since it premiered, and to this day continues to pump out new series with toys and merchandise to go along with it, including some very cheap but effective masks that let kids imagine themselves as one of these transforming, spandex-wearing, monster-fighting superheroes. But what does this whole history of Super Sentai gotta do with Pokemon? Well, the latest season of the show, known as Avataro Sentai Don Brothers, actually takes some inspiration from a Japanese folktale known as the story of Momotaro. And if you saw my last video, you'll know that the new Pokemon found in this DLC also seem to be inspired by this story. Coincidence? Probably. But I believe, like every iteration of the Super Sentai, our 3 heroes from the DLC will also be transforming. Let's go back to the masks seen in the trailer. Like I mentioned, the Pikachu and Eevee mask look pretty normal to me, so why is it that the other 3 Pokemon look so different from their original designs? Could it be that these masks are actually depicting alternate forms of these mythological Pokemon? Yeah. You see, the official artwork of Ogerpon makes you think this Pokemon's whole concept is that it's always wearing a mask, but this variant artwork of it shows us that might not be the case. Underneath the Oni mask, we can see the eyes of a much gentler creature. The fact that its mask is bedazzled with Terastal crystals makes me think this might just be an alternate form of Terastalization, where instead of the crystal hats seen in Paldea, the Pokemon from Kitakami don crystal masks when they Terastalize. Going off this theory, I believe we might actually be looking at an alternate form of Ogerpon in this official artwork, akin to the Gigantamax forms found in Pokemon Sword and Shield, that were basically unique versions of the Dynamax transformations introduced in those games. So the Ogerpon we've been introduced to might actually be an Ultra-Rastalized form, and not just the base Pokemon. But what if Ogerpon isn't the only one with a unique Terastal transformation? This could explain why the masks for the other 3 new Pokemon look so different to their official designs, because we're actually getting our first glimpse at their unique Terastalized forms. Super Sentai is all about transforming into a badass superhero, so it all comes full circle as the 3 animals from the Tale of Momotaro will also be putting on masks to transform and match the power of the evil Oni-faced Ogerpon in battle. But hey, speaking of battle, I wonder if these new forms could be any different in terms of gameplay. I compared them to Gigantamaxing earlier in that they're exclusive to certain Pokemon, but Gigantamaxing also came with new signature moves known as G-Max moves that were slightly more powerful than your usual Max moves. As we know, Terastalizing turns you into a specific type and powers up moves of that type, so what other benefits might we gain from this special new form of it? Well, besides from looking different, if we look at the official art for the DLC's first part, you can see giant branches and vines stretching out from behind Ogerpon, leading me to believe its special Terastalization is going to be grass type. But maybe these vines are also a hint at a super powerful new move just like with Gigantamaxing. Nowadays, every new legendary Pokemon comes packaged with a unique move exclusive to them, so perhaps whatever Ogerpon's signature move ends up being will be powered up even more so when it Terastalizes to either do bonus damage or cause extra effects like the G-Max moves did. If we really want to have some hopium though, these new transformations have potential to be even cooler if we compare them to the long-lost Mega Evolutions. I still stand by these are the best Pokemon forms, making them look 10 times more badass and giving them insane stat boosts and even changing their types and abilities. These potential super Terastalized forms could similarly grant Pokemon a different ability, maybe even increase stats while they're Terastalized, and become a sort of spiritual successor to the Mega Evolutions we all miss so fondly. And you already know which Pokemon is getting one first. So let me know what you think of this theory, and if you have any name suggestions for these potential hyper Terastalized Pokemon. And before wrapping up this video, I want to talk about a certain piece of evidence that might just take this theory into reality. Now this comes from a supposed leak of the DLC, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I recommend clicking off the video now. I mean, it's nothing really major, but I'm just warning you in case you don't like that kind of spoilery content. This is your last chance to get away because this potential leak of the Pokemon Presents that happened last week pretty much confirms everything I just talked about. An anonymous programmer posted this on 4chan a few days before the Pokemon Presents and managed to accurately predict many of the aspects of the DLC, including the name of it being the hidden treasure of Area Zero, a mysterious green Pokemon with a mask which we now know is Ogerpon, as well as the Japanese names of Paradox, Suicune, Virizion, and their typings. So pretty much this leak was legit, and recently this person added a bit more to their posting. Not only is there a third DLC apparently still unannounced, but some Pokemon will acquire new Terastal Forms. So there it is. This whole theory is suddenly way closer to reality, and all that remains to be seen is what these special Terastalized forms will actually do. But in terms of which Pokemon will likely receive them, I would bet we already know at least 3 of them. So be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already for more Pokemon theories and stuff. Also, apparently there's a new improved version of the Switch coming out, and if it's not called the Super Nintendo Switch, I'm riding.